A college student who accidentally cut his finger on a knife while he was doing his dishes did what a lot of Americans do. He went to the emergency room to ensure that he got the appropriate care so he wouldn't get an infection. Well, Matt Anderson, who's only 19 years old, was hit with a gigantic emergency room bill months later to the tune of $2,782. Why? Why was it so expensive? Now, Anderson estimates he got to the emergency room around 11 p.m. A nurse saw him shortly after midnight and cleaned his wound. A doctor came by a little later to apply liquid stitches to his finger. Anderson went home around 1 a.m. Well, it turns out that since he went in late into the night and that led to him staying to the next day, he got charged for 2 days as opposed to 1 day, okay? He said, I saw a nurse for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and a doctor for maybe 5 minutes tops, okay? So because the clock ticked past midnight as Anderson waited to see a doctor, Tri-County emergency physicians billed his insurance for 2 days rather than 1. The rest of the bill came from Chestnut Hill Hospital, which owns the emergency department. Now, his dad refuses to pay it, and he's trying to negotiate with them so they lower the price and then he can, close the bill or pay the bill. But this quote really broke my heart because this 19-year-old student felt so bad and so guilty about his decision to go to the emergency room that he's literally offering to starve so he can help pay the bill. His father says he still feels very guilty right now. He told me he has 25 meals on his card for the semester, and maybe he could use those to get some money to pay for it. That breaks my heart. It really does.
That's the scene in the movie where I start crying.
Yeah. So, look, I think that this story highlights one of the biggest downfalls or one of the biggest flaws in the Affordable Care Act. And I think one of the biggest reasons why so many people are, well, let me be clear, a lot of people are happy with it, but a lot of other people have criticized it, justifiably so. And the reason why is because it didn't focus enough on cost controls, and it also didn't focus on transparency. So you go to the doctor, and how often has this happened to you? It's happened to me several times. You go and they tell you you need various treatments or whatever it is, various tests. And so you feel like you have to do it because you want to make sure you're okay. So you go ahead and comply, you do the tests, and then a month later you get a lab bill. And the lab bill is bananas. And it freaks you out,
I
right?
have a lab bill right now that I thought I paid for at the office, and I got it in the mail. And what do I do with this?
So you have a window. This is what's so frustrating about it, is you have a window before it goes to collections where you can dispute it. But once it goes to collections, you get the phone call. So right now you need to be calling your insurance provider, and then the problem with that is you have kind of an internal investigation situation within your insurance provider to find out like whether they're the ones who messed up.
I don't want to deal with all of this.
They can blame your medical group, they can blame your primary care physician. That's the problem. That's the transparency, and there's no advocate. It's so frustrating, which is why you need to do it now.
Right.
Right now you need to go find, if you have insurance, go call your medical group or whoever to find out in different situations where you should go for treatment. The downside of this is, and what by that I mean your urgent care, if you have urgent care coverage, if you're on an HMO, call your medical group and they'll tell you which place you can go. The problem is, I probably just dropped 5 vocab words on you that you don't know because no one sits you down and tells you how to use your insurance.
Right.
It's super frustrating.
I'm sitting next to you and I actively don't know how to use my insurance. And it's so intimidating.
Not only that, but if you do, there was a doctor in Georgia named Dr. Matthew Keaty who 11 years ago went in. He's a doctor, and he said, all right, for my baby that I'm going to have, we're going to go to a room that, a hospital that covers me. And he got a giant bill after because 1 in 5 visits to the emergency room result in hidden costs.
Yes.
And the reason he got that is because most of the doctors involved in the procedure of childbirth were covered because they were employees of the hospital. But the anesthesiologist was a freelancer who got hired for a short-term contract, and that isn't covered. And the doctors and the insurance companies and everybody's fighting, and none of us have any idea that that's going on, much less how to fix it.
Look, I think that one of the biggest issues that you see is, medical institutions or specific doctors overcharging for the services that they provide. That absolutely happens. I don't know how many doctors are watching this right now and they're gonna dispute it. Maybe you don't do it yourself, but I know it happens. Like the fact that you go in for an MRI, right? And the MRI, just that one MRI costs like $5,000. Not buying it, I don't believe for a second that one MRI is gonna cost $5,000. Look, again, a lot of good things came from the Affordable Care Act, but you also have to criticize it where criticism is due. And this is one of the biggest issues with the Affordable Care Act and why so many people are frustrated with it. Unfortunately, I don't see this changing in a good direction after Republicans repeal the Affordable Care Act and then probably don't replace it. And if they do replace it, I mean, no one knows what they'd replace it with.
You know who created journalism you could be proud of? You did. Our audience helped us hire an investigative reporting team. Now we're going to go for a second. tytnetwork.com/go. Let's build the best reporting team in the country together.